Hello, guys, and welcome to the Kneejerk for Double Gameweek 35. So, yeah, I think there's a fair bit to talk about. Obviously, you may notice Huss isn't available to be in the stream for the Kneejerk. Unfortunately, he's had to deal with real life commitments, so it'll be just me for this Kneejerk reaction to this game week. And obviously, we will be talking ahead and looking to see what the team looks like and what the plans are for game week 36 also. But even though Huss is not here, I will show you, obviously, his team is currently on the screen of how well it's done. The only thing we won't be able to see is, obviously, his team for game week 36. But before we get to this video, obviously, give this video a like, guys. Make sure you subscribe for more and leave a comment if you wish to as well. So let's get into it. So, yeah, on the screen, as you can see in the slide, that is currently what Huss's team and how it's done for this game week. So we'll just talk through individually how the players have performed. So to start off with in goal, we have Petrovic, who, surprising, this game was very action-packed. Came up as a 2-2 draw against Aston Villa. Obviously, no clean sheet for Petrovic, but he did make 3 saves in that game, which gave him that 1 point. Although he did concede a point for conceding 2 goals. So, yeah, that kind of cancels himself out of getting that extra point, which only leaves him on with 2. He does have Tottenham at home next for his second fixture for the game week. So, let's see if he can manage to get a clean sheet in that one. So, let's move on to Huss's defence. So, the back 3 haven't done so well. There's no clean sheets for any of the back 3 defenders. So, let's speak about Pedro Porro. In that crazy game against Arsenal and Tottenham in that London derby, which happened this afternoon. Yeah, it looked like it was pretty much Arsenal's game to win. I felt like Arsenal were in control of that game throughout the whole match. Tottenham couldn't really get going. I mean, any attack they did try and get, Arsenal sort of pressed them back into passing it either sideways or backwards or eventually back to the goalkeeper, and the Spurs attack was null and void. But Arsenal did make 2 big mistakes in that game, which obviously, as you can see from the score, Arsenal did win, but it was 3-2. So 2 costly mistakes almost. One for Raya for passing it to Romero, and the other one, I believe, was from it was from Declan Rice kicking a Spurs player in the penalty box, which obviously gave the penalty away for Tottenham. So yeah, it was a very interesting game. I thought Tottenham was going to get something out of that and actually crush Arsenal's title race dreams, but no, Arsenal did manage it, but not really much for Pedro Porro in that sense. Only 1 point. He conceded 2 or more goals, so that was a point taken off him without a clean sheet, which leaves him on 1 point also with Chelsea away to play next. So let's see what Pedro Porro can do for his second game at fixture. On to his teammate, obviously Gabriel. He didn't keep a clean sheet either, obviously, and conceded 2 goals, which again took a point off of him, and he only ends up on 1 point. It was quite expected that it wasn't going to be a clean sheet in this London derby, although it did look like a 1 point when Arsenal winning 3-0, that maybe there could be one. So let's move on to the last defender, that is Dan Burn. Now, I think this is a bit annoying because Newcastle did win 5-1, and Sheffield United did score late on in that game, which obviously wiped the clean sheet for Newcastle, even though they made a massive performance during that game. So yeah, no clean sheet for Dan Burn either, which leaves the defence entirely without any attacking returns or clean sheets, even the goalkeeper as well. So let's move on to the midfield 5 that Huss has gone with. So starting off, we have Son, and he does outscore Palmer in his double game week so far from that, obviously, that penalty that Declan Rice conceded for Spurs. Son did take it, obviously took it and took the penalty and scored, which obviously gave him the 5 points, including the minutes he played. So that is 7 in total for Son. No bonus points for him, though. But he does have Chelsea away next. So for those who did go different with captaincies, it is working currently. Because on the other hand, obviously Palmer, he did blank in his fixture. So for Son captain, as it's looking really good for you guys at the moment. Moving on to Saka now, and Saka's a very interesting one because he was transferred out by many managers prior to this game week starting. So yeah, Saka had a really good game. He scored a goal, which I felt like Spurs were literally left hands up in the air at that point because only I think Ben Davies was the only player left on the 1v1 situation. And obviously Saka does what he does best, cuts it on his left foot and puts it around, obviously, puts it around Visario. So yeah, nice goal from Saka, even the assist from the corner as well, which was scored by Højbjerg. So that own goal gave obviously Saka the assist from that corner kick, and he also got rewarded the bonus 2 points as well. So yeah, nice double haul of 12 points for Saka, and I think a lot of managers are very annoyed, especially at the fact that Saka hasn't really had a double haul in quite a while. And we were mentioning in the team selection video that Saka's been really quiet in recent game weeks for nice scoring and just getting the odd assist here and there. So yeah, it's a bit of a kick in the teeth, I think, for those who took Saka out this week. Moving on to Bruno Fernandes. I feel like this was a bit unlucky because Bruno was awarded bonus 2. So he was awarded 2 bonus points in this game, which ended up being 1-1. It doesn't surprise me, if I'm honest, because it is Man United. You never know what you're going to expect for a result. But I did feel like Bruno Fernandes was the best of the bad bunch. He was quite unlucky because he did hit the crossbar in a wild, I think, up 20 plus yards away from the goal, which he could have scored easy in that game. It was so close. He kind of likes hitting the crossbar a lot, Fernandes, which is an annoying thing, but he only ends up on 4 points for this game. He was my transfer in as well, but yeah, it hasn't paid off, but hopefully he does have a double coming up. Moving on to Gordon, he does outstanding again this game week, getting 2 assists and rewarded with the bonus 2 points as well. He did assist 2 of, I believe, well, he conceded, obviously, he got fouled by a penalty, which gave him that assist. And he also assisted Isak's other goal, which obviously counted as well. So yeah, nice double haul of 10 points for Gordon. He only played 80 minutes of that game as well and was taken off. But yeah, nice reward from the Newcastle asset there. And finally, to complete the midfield, we got Palmer. Obviously, he had a blank, surprisingly, in that game, even though Chelsea scored 2. He wasn't a part of the action. So yeah, nothing really for Captain Palmer's out there. I know his majority were captain in Palmer, expecting a big result, but he does have Tottenham at home next, so it's not too late yet. Hopefully he can get a return out of this game week. Now moving on to Hutty's top, the front 2 forwards. So starting off, we've got Haaland, who he does manage to score a goal. Now, not in the Forest game, by only playing just under half an hour during that game. So he did come on roughly around 60 or so minutes, and he did score a goal, which I think, for me, I'm quite annoyed at that because I did transfer out Haaland in my team. So yeah, that was a kind of a kick in the teeth for him to score. Yeah, he was rewarded with 5 points. I don't believe he got any bonus points from that either, so I'm quite glad he didn't get any extra on top of that. But yeah, 5 points from Haaland. And finally, move on to the other forward alongside him. That is Isak, who scores big yet again. I think Isak's been a very great, not just an FPL asset, but for Newcastle as well. He's been a great, prolific goal scorer for him as well in the absence of Wilson. He scored 2 goals, was awarded the bonus 3 deservedly, and got a total of 13 points. And just quickly on the bench, there isn't really much for Huss's bench to talk about. Kelleher obviously didn't start because Alisson is now back. Højlund blanked against Man United. Against Burnley. He only played 60 or so minutes. Van Heck didn't play because of the injury that he picked up just before the match. And Gusto was ruled out of this game due to injury as well. And I don't think he'll be back for Tottenham at home, but I don't think it matters much because obviously everyone's played in the starting 11 already. So overall, though, it's been it's been a mixed game week, I think, and in terms of Huss's team, because he did take a -8 as well. So even though he got a -8, he got 61, obviously 61 game week points this week with plus the -8. His overall rank is now 33k, so it's a very small green arrow. I believe he was on like 31 or 30k around that mark, but actually no, he can't be. No, he was on like, he must have been on 34 or 35 if I had to guess an estimate, but it's a very small, tiny green arrow. And in particular, because it's a -8 as well, I'm quite surprised of that. But I guess that is because of Saka. His effective ownership was very low. And I think that's what made it really good, obviously, because he still has Saka in his team. But yeah, so I think it's a good result from -8 in particular to be still on the green arrow. And he still has 4 players left to play: Son, Palmer, Pedro Porro, and Petrovic. So that can all still change up until that moment, until these guys are played. But yeah, I think it's been a very good game week overall so far, if you had to compare what he has taken in terms of hits. So that is obviously Huss's team talked through and discussed. I will now move on to how well my team has done this week. Just bear with me though, because I do have to switch over points for my squad, and then we'll get going. So here you go, guys. This is what my team looks like on the screen now. So starting in goal, I did have Leno, who was I felt unfortunate for this because Crystal Palace did score late on in this game. Otherwise, I looked like Fulham was going to win that 1-0, if I'm honest. But yeah, the clean sheet was white for Leno. He did get 3 saves in that game, so he got an extra point for that. But he only ends up on 3 points and no clean sheet. Moving on to the back 3, and it's pretty much the same for me. There was no attacking returns nor clean sheets for any of my back 3. Reguilon conceded 1-0 to Everton. He did get a yellow card as well, and he only played about 75 minutes in that game. But yeah, only 1 point for him, nothing else. Same thing for Doughty. He conceded 2 against Wolves in that 2-1 defeat. Obviously, a point taken off for 2 goals scored against him, and only leaves him at 1 point. And obviously, Gabriel as well for conceding 2 against Spurs as equally. So yeah, nothing really to talk about in the back 3. There is a lot more, obviously, in the front. The midfield 5. So we've spoken about Gordon getting his 2 assists and bonus 2 in that 5-1 win over Sheffield United. So that was a nice return. Bruno Fernandes, who was my transfer in this game week, blanked. Obviously, he did get a bonus 2 though, which I guess is something. I guess better than nothing from Man United asset. My Captain Palmer didn't really pay off. Hopefully it does in the second game week against Tottenham at home. But yeah, he does indeed blank in the first part of his double game week. Saka, again, we've spoken about him getting his 1 assist, scoring the goal, and rewarded with bonus 2 points, which I think I'm going to hold on to Saka now for the rest of the game, the rest of the season. Sorry. I think that's just a reminder that taking out a player like Saka is very, very risky. And yeah, I think lessons have been learned, I think, from this game because of that. And finally, last midfielder is Son, who did get obviously 7 points. He scored the penalty. And yeah, no bonus points for him though, just the 5 and the minutes he played. And he does have Chelsea away next. Moving on to the front 2. So Isaac, he scored his 2 points, got the bonus 3 with 13 points. So moving on to the last forward in my team, that is Solanke, who indeed blanked. I'm not sure how he did blank in this fixture, to be honest, because Bournemouth scored 3 goals. I didn't watch the match, but I mean, I'm quite surprised that Solanke wasn't a part of any of the action of those 3 goals. So I'll be very interested to see the highlights, to see what actually happened in that game, and how he did not manage to get anything. But yeah, he ends up on 2 points, so no returns for him in the blank. Moving on to the bench, I think there's one annoying thing that I had on my bench, obviously, because if you saw a deadline stream, I did swap Doughty for Brantwaite in terms of bench. So yeah, I did have Brentford to start off with before the deadline, and I switched him out for Doughty, and that's when I locked in my team. And Brentford ends up getting a clean sheet, which again I think Doughty is the one that's been robbing me the most in terms of clean sheets, because I think most of them have been on the bench rather than my starting 11. But again, I never really expected Everton to keep a clean sheet. I expected them to win, but I thought Brentford would score in that game. But the rest of the bench, not really much to talk about. Semenyo, he blanked. Ariello got, obviously, Liverpool scored 2 against him. He did make 7 saves in that game, though, which quite a fair bit, but he did, I believe it was counted as an own goal, one of the Liverpool goals. So yeah, I think I kind of set him back a bit, having that down as an own goal. And obviously Bell, he didn't play in this game due to injury. So yeah, that's how my team has done, guys, this week. I did get 58 points, -4, so altogether that's 54. It is a very small green arrow for me as well. There's not been much in it really. Yeah, I'll just double check though how much that green arrow difference is, because it's 6k green arrow. So yeah, it's a very small one. It's not big. So I haven't really moved anywhere, but I did take a -4 this week to bring in Bruno Fernandes and Isak. So I suppose the Isak one did pay off. Bruno Fernandes one hasn't paid off yet, but it will come double game at 37. So we'll wait and see for that. But yeah, that's how my team has done well. This is how well my team has done. So it hasn't been such a bad thing. At least it's a green arrow, not a red. But I still want to push up into that top 100k. So yeah, that is both me and Huss's team spoken about for double game 35. Obviously now we move on to what obviously game week 36 looks like currently. So bear with me for a moment while I get my team up on the screen. And there we go. So this is what my team currently looks like for game week 36. So in goal, we got Leno, who has Brentford away. Now, again, it's a hard decision because Area has Chelsea away. I don't expect a clean sheet from that game, the way West Ham are playing. Maybe there is one against Brentford because Everton did keep one against them, and that does give me a bit of hope for Leno there. But it is an away fixture, so it's going to be tougher for them not playing at home. But in the case Leno doesn't get a clean sheet, I mean, he does get save points for me, which I guess count at the end of the day. Every point counts, I think, at this stage in FPL. So I think I will play him over Areola. Moving on to the back three, so I've gone with Reguilon, who has Fulham at home. So it is a clash because we have got Reguilon against, obviously, Leno. Either way, I'm hoping for a clean sheet for one or the other, but hopefully both teams don't score, because then obviously that's no clean sheet for either one of them. But I like Reguilon's attacking threat because he could get an assist from a cross into the box, and hopefully someone there from Brentford is there to finish it. So that's why I quite like having Reguilon in my starting team, and that's pretty much why I brought him into my team. Alongside him, I have Doughty, who has Everton at home. Now, because of that Everton win now, they're pretty much safe from relegation. So I feel like now they're not really going to have much to play for now that they're safe from obviously being relegated from the Premier League. So on the other hand, Luton, they're still in the relegation battle, so there's a lot more to play for. So maybe if I play Doughty this week in the hopes that obviously Brentford doesn't do anything, and hopefully Luton maybe get a clean sheet out of this game. Who knows? It is a home fixture for them, and they are pretty much better at home than they are away. I could get something out of Doughty this game week. So that's what I'm relying on, because there's a lot more to play for Luton than there is for Everton to play for. But that doesn't mean Everton are going to sit back and let Luton walk over them. But we'll wait and see. Moving on to the last defender, that's Gabriel, who has Bournemouth at home. And as always, Arsenal, they're must-haves, I think, at the moment. They're in the title race still. There's a lot to play for, so of course I'm going to play Gabriel. It's going to be crazy if not to, even though if I don't expect a clean sheet from them. It's just in case. I mean, Arsenal kept the most clean sheets this season, so it was looking like the Spurs one was going to be a clean sheet as well. So I'm going to play regardless the fixture, but yeah, I think it's a good one for Arsenal to have. Moving on to midfield 5, so we've got Gordon who has Burnley away, which I don't think it's going to be as easy as the Sheffield United game, but I do expect Newcastle to win and obviously to be goals involved in that fixture too. And yeah, I think the Gordon is that combination at the moment. He's working really good. I know Wilson is back and he did come on the pitch for some minutes, which again may affect how the team overall plays, like assets like Gordon and Isaac, and how many points they get now with Wilson's return and the rotation, especially with Isaac. But I think it's still a good fiction regardless. I think I'd still play Gordon and Isaac over obviously Wilson in that team because it just seems to be working at the moment for them. But we'll see what Eddie Howe plans to do with that. Moving on to the next midfielder, that's Bruno Fernandes, who has Crystal Palace away. In terms of, you don't know what to expect from Man United, like I keep mentioning, of what the score is going to be, but it's always nice to have a Man United asset in there, especially after this game week when they have a double just around the corner. But yeah, that's why I brought in Bruno Fernandes for last game week, well, this current game week, is because of that double. He's also on penalties as well, and he has that goal threat, which we did see against Sheffield United. So yeah, happy to play him against Crystal Palace away. Hopefully he gets something, gets a result out of this game. And I think he's the best of the bad bunch, I think, in terms of Man United assets. He is the only one that I would only look to go for at this moment. That is the most convincing. And that's pretty hard at the moment, especially the way Man United are playing. Moving on to the next midfielder, that is Palmer, who currently has the captaincy over him, who has West Ham at home. I think this is a good captain for this week. Chelsea are, I think, unbeaten in consecutive matches at home against a lot of teams. I think it's like 6 or 7 wins at home for them now. So their home record's pretty good, Chelsea, in comparison to their away form, which is a bit edgy. But yeah, I think Palmer again, I think he's a good captain for this week in comparison to other players in my team. I think he has one of the best fixtures. West Ham have been leaking goals as well. So I will have to see what he can do against West Ham at home. I think the captain's pretty much locked for him. I don't think I'll change my mind. I mean, I could sway to Isaac, but it's currently on Palmer. Moving on to the next midfielder, that is Saka, who has Bournemouth at home. So yeah, after his massive double haul, I don't think we have to really say much about Saka. He's done very well this season. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he scores in that Bournemouth home fixture. I know he's been quiet in the recent game weeks, but he does have those sparks where he just comes out and manages to score like we saw against, obviously, Spurs. So yeah, I think I'm going to keep Saka for the rest of this season. There's only 3 game weeks left, so yeah, I think he's a keeper until then. And the last midfielder is Son, who has Liverpool away. So obviously we know Liverpool have dropped points. They drew in double game week 35. So it's looking like the magic has sort of run out for Liverpool in terms of the title race and the energy that they had at this moment in the season. So maybe Spurs can take advantage of that, even though it's at Anfield. But we have seen there's been a bit of upsets at Anfield recently for teams. So there could be something in there for Son in that tough fixture, even though it's not the best fixture on paper. Maybe Son can get something out of it due to there's not really much for Liverpool to play for at this moment in time in comparison to Spurs, which there could be more to play for them. And moving on to the front 2, so we've got Isaac, who has Burnley away. So yeah, I've got no worries about playing Isaac. He may play not 90 minutes though. That's the only thing. Now that Wilson is back fit, his minutes might be managed a little bit more. Although, in my opinion, I would just play Isaac for the rest of the season now. And only bring in Wilson really if there's like 10 minutes or so left of the game, because I don't really see the point starting Wilson when he's just come back from injury. And we know how injury prone Wilson is, so I think if I was Eddie Howe, I'd just play Isaac because it just seems to be working at the moment for Newcastle, and he's scoring like a machine. So I kind of would like, but again, they do have a double coming up, so maybe Isaac gets some more rest, and then Wilson plays some more minutes. But we have to wait and see for that. Hopefully, it's not affected by much in that respect. And finally, we've got the last player in my forwards, and that is Solanke, who obviously clashes with Saka and Gabriel because he has Arsenal away. I don't think Solanke gets much from this fixture. I just wanted to have a look at the rest of his fixtures after that because he has Brentford and then Chelsea afterwards without any doubles. So I don't know if it's worth taking out Solanke for Arsenal away and not bringing him back in, and then obviously bringing in a double in place for him because he has been pretty quiet in recent game weeks. I mean, he did score in 34 against Aston Villa and then 33 against Man United, but he has had back-to-back blanks now, and it has been in a game where Bournemouth won 3-0 against Brighton, and he wasn't part of the action. But again, that could be some from his chances in that game where he could have possibly scored easily, but the goalkeeper's done well to save it. So maybe a bit of misfortune there for him. Maybe it's a doubt, but we're coming near the end of the season now, and we want to take these risks of these players and go a bit different, break the template a bit. So yeah, Solanke could be in my transfer plans. But on the bench, we've got Areola, Branthwaite, Semenyo, and Bell, who's currently flagged still. I don't think he's expected back on the 1st of June. So yeah, he's probably out for the rest of the season, and we probably won't see him because of his hamstring injury. But that is the team, guys. That's the way that my team looks for game week 36. So before I move on to the plans for my team, let's just take a few of your comments in the chat. So we've got the first one from Fatality, who says Guardiola getting 59 -4 with Palmer captains, Son and Jackson to go, still first in the Duo League. Yeah, congrats Fatality, because Nicholas Jackson did score as well. So you're in a very good position as well as Guardiola getting that massive double haul too. So yeah, well done for that. I think the only thing is the Palmer captain hasn't paid off so far, and obviously Son captainers have sort of won so far this week, but maybe that changes come near the second part of the double. Got a comment from Thomas, says my Gordon captain was rather lovely, jumped up to 200k. Yeah, if you went to Gordon, well done again. Massive double haul of 10 points, so that's 20 points for your captain. So yeah, well done, Thomas. And finally, a comment from Patrick, who says, hi, my front eight is Gordon, Palmer, Son, Foden, Fernandes, Isaac, Jackson, Haaland. Worth swapping any of them for De Bruyne, or do ain't Nigel Guardiola / Walker? I think in terms of De Bruyne, I do want to fit him in my team in replace for Haaland, I think, because I've taken out Haaland in my team. I don't own him anymore. I did transfer him out for, well, actually, in fact, with Isaac, which kind of worked out. But yeah, it's fitting them in and knowing who to take out, because you have Foden there already with Son, Palmer, and Gordon. And Son has a double in 37 alongside Gordon as well. And yeah, it's a tough one because you don't want to take out Palmer, even though he hasn't got any more doubles after this. And I think so. Let me just double check he doesn't. I want to say that. Well, no, after 37, he has a 38 fixture. But yeah, I mean, Palmer doubles in the same game as Man City, so you don't really take him out. The only player I think you could take out really is Saka. But again, you don't have Saka in your team, in your front eight. So yeah, it's a difficult one. You don't want to take Bruno Fernandes out either. I think you could be better doing 8 Nuri to either Guardiola or Walker. But the only thing with that is the rotation that Pep likes to do. But I'll put my risk on Walker, I think, if I had to make a defender transfer, because you've already got Foden there. So unless you do Foden to De Bruyne, but I think that's pretty sideways. You're better off getting in another Man City asset like a defender like Walker. But I would like to have De Bruyne in there as well, but it's just hard to fit him in. into your front eight. But yeah, that's all your comments, guys, in the chat. So let's move on to what my transfer plans are looking like at the moment. So let's just switch over. So yeah, this is obviously a transfer page for my team, and I got one free transfer with 10.8 million in the bank. So there's a lot of money ever since I sold Haaland, which is quite nice because I was on 0.0 with no money in the bank beforehand. So transfers that I'm thinking of is I definitely want to take Bell out because he's the only flag I have left in my team, and I am looking to bench boost in 37. So he's definitely a priority transfer. So I will remove Bell out of my team, I think. The other transfer that I'm looking to go for, potentially Solanke. But I don't know. It's between either a forward or taking out another defender because I want doubles for 37, as many as I can fit in. So let's just deal with Bell first, just to get rid of bit of vision. So I was thinking of bringing in maybe Maguire for Bell because obviously Maguire has a double in 37. It's a hard one against Arsenal Newcastle, so I don't really expect a clean sheet from there, but it is two fixtures that he'll be playing, and he'll most likely be on the bench boost as well. He did score and get an assist against Sheffield United. I don't really see that really coming in that double game week, but yeah, 2 goals and 4 assists this season for Maguire. But he does show attacking threat though, which I like. He's good on headers when he gets the opportunities. So he possibly could be one of my transfers into this game week. It's just to remove that one flag, but now there's no flags in my team, which I'm quite happy with. Hopefully that stays that way. Now the other transfer I'm stuck on because I go 2 ways with this. I could take out Solanke and either bring in. I've got a choice of bringing in a Newcastle or Chelsea or Man United asset. And I'm kind of stuck on which one to go for this one because I do want to take another -4. It's just who I take it for and who I bring in for it. So yeah, that's what I'm quite stuck on. I was thinking Hoyden, but I don't know Hoyden. He's been quite quiet this season, if I'm honest. I mean, he scored a goal against Sheffield United, but before that, his last return was against Luton at 25, where he scored 2 goals. He's been pretty quiet since then. So he's a big differential at 5.9% though. And I think he'll be a massive differential for that double game week. I don't think many people actually bring him in for that. So he could be one to look out for and go for, but other player, maybe Nicholas Jackson as the other player for the double 37. He has a better fixture against Nottingham Forest and Brighton, which both teams do concede goals to. His ownership is actually higher though, 10%, which I'm surprised about. But yeah, he could be another player I could look at to bring in for Chelsea to put the double up on them. Or if I really go bold, I could go for Wilson for Newcastle, but double Newcastle attack could be risky because Wilson's only played 24 minutes in the last 2 game weeks prior to his injury. Even though he did score against Sheffield United, and he can do that for the bench. It's just whether I'd rather bring a player that plays 90 minutes rather than one that plays half an hour or so. So I'm not really gonna gamble on that Wilson. So it is really between Nicholas Jackson and Hoyland, I think. Just depends which one I go for, which one I think will outscore one or the other in that sense. But yeah, let me know, guys, who you're looking to bring in to your teams for the upcoming double game 37. Because I'm pretty stuck at the moment. Whether I go for a Chelsea Man United asset. I mean, Brighton as well, if we don't forget them. They do double, I believe, as well. They did have Newcastle away and Chelsea at home. And you could look to go for Danny Welbeck, but again, he plays minutes. You don't really play like minute football either, so I don't really go for a Brighton asset. The way they're playing at the moment, they haven't really scored in the last 2 game weeks, so yeah, maybe not a Brighton asset up front. But I am leaning towards Man United because I'm a Man United fan, so I suppose I should support them in having them as an asset. So maybe I'll go with Højlund as the second transfer in. That does mean it's another -4 though. I still have a lot of money in the bank regardless, and yeah, that might be the move I go for. But you'll have to wait and see, guys, for the deadline stream of what I actually do in terms of my transfer plans. But that is what it's looking like at the moment. I might speculate with that and have a little mess around with the team, but yeah, that's where I'm kind of leading towards. I am taking a -4 definitely. It just depends on who I'm bringing in for that -4. But yeah, I will be playing around with that until then. Comment from Patrick says, "Are you going without City players for the double?" No, I think I'm going to have 1 or 2 City players for that double game week. Possibly De Bruyne, I think, as one of them, and maybe a Man City defender as well in there. So I could go for De Bruyne and then maybe Walker in defence. I'm not sure yet though, but I will have at least 2 Man City players in my team at that moment. So yeah, it's a hard thing to get a fit De Bruyne in because of the midfield the way it looks at the moment. The only one really I could take out is Saka, which I want to keep him for the rest of the season, but I might be forced into taking him out for that double game week where he has a single. Because Saka has Man United obviously in 37 as a single game week fixture. Now that could be good or bad for if we do take Saka out, but yeah, it's a single game week, so we just have to hope he doesn't score big. But yeah, I'm gonna have Man City assets in there somewhere. But yeah, I think that is pretty much it, guys, for this Kneejerk reaction. Normally it's much longer, more extensive, but because obviously Huss isn't able to join us in the stream, it is going to be a little bit shorter this time round. But we are going to be back for obviously the next stream, which is our team selection / transfer 6 video on Thursday, and then obviously we have our deadline stream, which I believe is on the Friday deadline stream. I'm just going to check obviously what time the deadline stream is for next week. So it is deadline's at 6:30, so we'll be going live at 5:30. So it is an evening deadline stream, which I quite like. The Friday evening deadline stream is pretty thrilling at the end of the week. One more comment from Patrick. So why not Solanke to Harden? I've just taken Harden out of my team. I don't think I want to bring him back in into my squad because one, I can't afford him if I do now, which I'll just check actually. If I do that, then if I take Solanke out and bring Haaland in, okay, maybe I can afford that, but that would mean I don't think I'll be able to afford. Could I afford De Bruyne as well? If I took Saka out, can I afford De Bruyne? Oh yeah, easily I can. So yeah, I could do that as well. Yeah, I could bring in Haaland, even though I've just taken them out, and De Bruyne in at some point as the main assets. It's just because of Haaland's ownership, because it's so high at 61%. He ain't gonna be. He's not really a rank gainer. He's more of a rank killer, if anything. So, but yeah, I think it was a 50-50 on Haaland because of on his injury, obviously, because he did have a muscle injury, even though he came on today and played. So I do expect him to be back for the Wolves game at home, and then obviously for the double in 37, which you should play both games in that week. But again, I think I want to go different instead of going for Haaland. But yeah, he's one to look out for, I guess. I mean, bringing Haaland in maybe not such a bad idea just to cover that Man City spot. But yeah, it is a idea to go for though. Thanks, Patrick, for that. But yeah, I think that's all for today, guys. Thank you, obviously, for watching throughout the stream. It's always appreciated. Hopefully, you guys have done well and you've managed to get yourself a green arrow this week. Obviously, the game is still ongoing because there's still matches to be played. Got still Chelsea, Spurs their second games to be played for this week. So all the best of luck for that. But yes, I will wrap up the stream now. But yeah, have enjoyed the rest of your weekend. Obviously, take care, and we will see you for the team selection video / transfer tips video on Thursday.